Hello and welcome back to the final K. We have got stage 5 of the Itzulia Basque Country. I am a bit late. Yes, I bit rushed today and I'm a bit tight for time, so I'm hoping this does finish relatively early. But we've got 41 kilometers to go. There are quite a lot has happened. I haven't actually been watching the stage, I'm not going to lie, but I've been following PCS just in dipping in and out of PCS, and I've seen that on the last Category 1 climb there, the crabbling, the whole race split apart. So as it is standing right now, we have currently got Mark Soler and Ben Healy out the front of the road on their own. Then we've got the peloton behind, which is also the group of favourites. There's 19 riders in it. It has got Chapousson, Tejada, Scaroni from Astana. There's Igor Arieta from UAE, Primoz Roglic and Lipowitz. There's Paul Sexas, Riccatello, Prodholm. Then there's Ibon Ruiz from Kern Pharma, Utebrooks and Javier Romo from Movistar, Peo Bilbao, Ian Izagiri, Alex Arambaru, Mikael Bizkarra, Alex Bodin, Kevin Vacklin and Tobias Hallen Johannesson. The likes of Ben Tullett, Matej Skelmose, they have dropped, so they have. Which is, I don't know how they dropped. They must have dropped on the final Category 1 climb, but they have dropped. So we're going to see quite a few changes in the GC. So we are. But the group of favourites are 37 seconds down on Mark Soler and Ben Healy. I'm hoping Ben Healy actually goes on to win this stage, not going to lie. But it still looks like UAE are trying to throw the kitchen sink at this to try and make something off the... try and make something off this Itzulia Basque Country after having an unfortunate one so far with Del Toro dropping out. But yeah, 40.6 kilometers to go. I'm just making sure that I am all good. Yeah, so that is I'll change that to 40k before I say anything else, but that is the stage on the right hand side of your screen. As you can see, this is the Queen stage. We've got 3 Category 1 climbs. They've already completed 2 of them. They've just completed a Category 3 climb there, and now they've got 1 Category 1 climb and a Category 3 climb until the finish. So that is what is left. No Skelmos and no Tullett. Yes, both of them have dropped from this favourites group. So I wonder I wonder how they will react. I did, I gotta say, I'm tired of Soler doing these and then sliding back through the peloton when he burns out. Well, I mean, it makes the race a tad bit exciting just to see him off the front, and then obviously when he does run out of energy, that is the end of it. But it is still a bit exciting to see someone off the front trying to make something off the stage. Lipo attacked on the Cat 1 climb. There are like 30 people in the front. Sexas followed, but it came up. I actually seen that on PCS. It said Lipowitz attacks out the front and Sexas was able to follow. And then I think that must have been where everyone split apart. No Guillaume Martin or Juan Pedro Lopez. Yep. I've seen that as well on PCS. It says Group Skelmose, which is 250 down the road. So what is that? 210 on the group of favourites. So that is quite a lot of time lost on the GC for Skelmose and Tullett. But as the GC stands, you can see the top 5 there on your screen. I will get the top 10 up, so I will, on my screen. So, like always, Paul Sexas leading it. He now leads it by 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Roglic is in second, 2 minutes and 19 down. Florian Lipowitz, 2:28 in third. Ian Izagiri has moved up into 4th from 7th after a brilliant race yesterday. He's now 2:29 down, 1 second off the podium, and he is 10 seconds off second. Skelmose down in the 5th, 2:34 down. That is going to change drastically today, as he is currently 2 minutes down at the moment. Ben Tullett also, who is in P6, I say P6, he's in 6th position, 2:47 down. That is also going to drastically change. Alex Bodin, who is in 7th, 2:51. Harold Tejada for Astana is in 8th, 3:08. Kian Utebrooks 9th, 3:21, and Clement Chapousson 3:22 down. So Astana are actually looking two riders in the top 10, Tejada and Chapousson, and they're gonna move up in the top 10. Very good. So where are we? Who is in the top 10? So Harald Tejada and Chapuisson in the top 10 there in the group of favourites. Roglic and Lipowitz, obviously. Paul Sexas, obviously. Kieran Utebrooks is there as well. Ian Izagiri, Alex Boudin. So the only two missing from the top 10 are Skelmos and... I've just seen a rider that didn't start there, so I will get onto that in a minute, but I'm just trying to see if the only two riders from the top 10 are who I think they are. Ben Tullett, Skelmoza. Yeah, they're the only two riders from the top 10 that aren't in this group of favourites. And I've also just seen there that... Was that yesterday or was that today? That must have been today. So Axel Laurent, if any else, doesn't start today after winning stage 3. So he did. He doesn't start, which I wonder why he didn't start. Hello, Kat. Yeah, so Skelmoza and Tullett. Do you reckon they drop out of the top 10? Every time I get rid of the top 10, I think of something else to say about the top 10. Where is 11th and all? So 11th is Javier Romo. No, sorry, Peo Bobal's 11th and Javier Romo. I think they're dropping it. They're going... Yeah, so they're definitely dropping out of the top 10. Igor Arrieta, he's in 13th. Yeah, they're going to be sitting around 15th, I reckon. Because 15th is Tobias Allen Johannesson and Riccatello in 14th, Igor Arrieta 13th, Javier Romo 12th, and Peo Bobal 11th. I'm sorry, I'm not commentating on the race because I'm on an ad break at the moment, so yeah. What do you mean, the audio on my... What? So that audio on your short, the Visma News conference, laughed myself. What do you mean? Is there something wrong with one of my videos? Have I missed something? I must have missed something. The favourites group is keeping them close. Yeah, they are. They're keeping them 39 seconds. I'm back now. The ad breaks have finished. So 39 seconds. I'm so confused. What do you mean? Have I put something on there? Oh no. Oh, I know what you mean now. The clip I added in from your man looking at the phone screaming at it. Yes, I know what you mean now. I was confused. I thought an audio had went over and cut it all off. Yeah, no, I get what you mean now. Yeah, that is a clip from an Arsenal. If you follow football, an Arsenal fan channel. It was something. Arsenal got beaten. He was looking at his phone and he was screaming at his phone. So that's an iconic clip in football. So, well, not in football, but on TikTok and stuff to do with football reaction channels and stuff like that. So I put that in there. I thought it was quite funny. Oh, yes, I forgot that French race was on. And Antoine Lahotte with the win. That's very good for them. So they've already got, like Johnny says, they've already got a win today already. Alexander Camp in second, Corbin Strong in third, Clement Ventunuri in fourth, another Unibet Rouge Rockets rider in seventh, Brian Cockard in 10th. Why is Brian Cockard getting so many top 10s in this race with so many Category 1 climbs? Yeah, no, I did not. So they're coming up to there's a sprint, an intermediate sprint coming up. I think it's one of them Red Bull sprints, but it's still Ben Healy and Mark Soler out the front, 35.3 to go, 37 seconds up the road. And how many kilometers? The next Category 1 climb looks brutal. How many kilometers? I'd say 4 kilometers from the foot of the climb. It's called the Itzulia. Pardon me. So the Itzulia is up next. 3.6 kilometers. Well, sorry, it's not up next. sprint is up next, but I doubt anyone is going to be going for it. It says there, Balaki of AF Education, the second in the youth jersey, he is now dropped out of the favourites group. He was actually involved in it was nearly an incident where he was sitting comfortably in the group and the little Trek car came up the right hand side of him and just it did hit him, but it didn't hit him, if that makes sense. So the car hit his foot, but it didn't hit his foot to the point where it knocked him off track. It hit his foot and he turned around and looked at them as if to say what he's doing. And I don't even think the little Trek car apologised. They looked a bit annoyed as well. So it looks like Balaki now has dropped out of the favourites group. I don't know if that'll affect him in the youth jersey though. I think he's got about 5 minutes on third in the youth jersey. But we've got 34 kilometres to go, so the kilometres are dropping quite quickly. I'll change it to it's not actually 30 but I'll change it to 33.8 kilometres to go. And they're still on a descent. They descend down to the intermediate sprint. And then after the intermediate sprint, it is, I wouldn't say it's the foot of the climb. They start going uphill, but I wouldn't say that it is the foot of the climb yet. There's a wee dip down, and then it is the foot of the climb. So after the intermediate sprint, I'd say it's about 4 kilometres to the intermediate sprint. According to PCS, they look about 6. I think I said they look 4 earlier, but that's just my eyes playing tricks on me. So the gap still comfortably 36 seconds. Mark Soler and Ben Healy look to be working together. But I think on this next climb, we're going to see... Well, my prediction for the race was Paul Sachs has to attack on this Category 1 climb and go solo like he did on Stage 2. I will get the polls started. Right, let's have a... Because... no. Let's have a look. Trying to think who else could potentially go. I don't think anyone else could. I'll add his name in because he's been very good. So there's the poll there. I've got Sexas, Lipowitz, Izagiri, and other. Have they hit the climb or what? Because PCS is saying otherwise. I think they are onto the climb now. So they are. Yeah, they are. 15% averages right now. As Mark Soler and Ben Healy hit the foot of the Izua. The breakaway is 41 seconds behind. This climb looks nuts. So it does. So I don't think the favourites group or Paul Sachs's group, I don't think they've hit it yet. But Mark Soler and Ben Healy are onto it. Mark Soler leads them onto it. As the peloton, or I keep calling it the peloton. I'll call it the peloton. The peloton hit it now. Riccatello at the front, I think it is. It's either Riccatello or Prodholm. He is powering up at the moment for Decathlon at the front of this with EF Education rider Alex Bodin behind him, and then both Alex Arambaru and Ian Izagiri on the third and fourth wheel. Is it the pre-climb? PCS says it is, but with the steepness of this, I don't think it is. Because they had 15% there. Actually, I think you're right, because the road's flattened out now, so it must have been the pre-climb, so they're not onto it yet. I thought it was just with them percentages there. 32 kilometers to go. Yeah, they haven't. Commentators just confirmed they haven't, so yeah, my bad. But that must have just been a taster then of what is to come, because the profile of it, 3.6 kilometers long, has an average of 9.9%. The first 2.5 kilometers of it are all averaging at 10%. Then for the next, from 2.4 to 3.2 is an average of 8. and then 3.2 to 3.6 as an average of 9.5. So yeah, it is a very, very steep climb. You did some climbing yourself in Spain? What, like hiking or like actually climbing on the bike? I'm going to assume climbing on the bike. And if it... On to Alpe d'Huez and some in Spain. Fair enough. Did you have to get off your bike or did you stay on the bike the whole time? That's the question. Bobby, same. I just got back as well. Fair enough. Fair enough. So they've started the Itzulia now. Mark Soler and Ben Healy have both hit this Category 1 climb. Hiking is more for my age now. So they're showing the length of it on TV. It is 4.1 kilometers long, has an elevation gain of 378 meters, average gradient of 9.2%, and a maximum gradient of 13%. You did 1:20, double of Pantani's record on Alpe d'Huez. It is. I think the numbers that professionals do are crazy. Like when you compare it to the numbers that you would do yourself, like you double the time it took. I know it's obviously not too shy. It's just compared to when you compare it to a professional, you go, "Jeez, how are they even?" So the gap is 25 seconds. Decathlon are leading them onto this climb now. Prodholm and Riccatello are leading Sexas as he sits in third wheel, with both Cofidis riders Alex Aramburú and Ian Izagiri sat in fourth and fifth wheel. Sorry, getting my numbers mixed up. I miss riding so much. I had to stop 15 years from an injury. Damn. Fractured pelvis. Lovely. Hope hope you're still all good now from it, like, but that does sound like a nasty injury. So the peloton is now, the gap is completely been annihilated. It is now 10 seconds that the peloton are on the peloton are now 10 seconds behind Ben Healy and Marc Soler, as Aramburú is now dropped out the back. Ben Healy has now attacked Marc Soler, or he's either attacked him or Marc Soler has blown up. But Ben Healy is out of the saddle. The gap, I would say, is less than 10 seconds now, as the peloton are about to come around this corner. As you can see them now in the distance. Decathlon's still leading them onto it. I think both Decathlon teammates are done. It is now Paul Sexas at the front of the peloton. Let's see if he doesn't attack here. Exactly 30k to go now. As Igor Arrieta from UAE has now dropped off the back of this favourites group. So we are losing riders left, right and centre. UAE have just lost Marc Soler from the breakaway, and now they're losing Igor Arrieta from the favourites group. So it isn't looking too good for UAE, as Paul Sexas accelerates at the front, trying to bring back Ben Healy. I keep getting mixed up with Igor Arrieta and Ian Izagiri. Is that a gap? Yep, gaps are forming from the Sexas in the Sexas favourite group. So it is Sexas, Lipowitz, Roglic. There is Ian Izagiri as well, and I think that is Kian Utebrooks on the back of them. It looks to be. Rider from Movistar, it's either Javier Romo or Utebrooks. So we've got a group of 5 about to catch Ben Healy here. So Paul Sexas passes Ben Healy like it's no issue at all, and he's putting the foot down here on this climb. It is Ben Healy. Why I'm getting mixed up with the names today. Peo Bilbao is now dropping off the back, but the group of 5 out the front is Paul Sexas, Ian Izagiri, Roglic, Lipowitz, and Kian Utebrooks. There's a group trying to chase. I actually can't speak today. What is going on here? I can't speak. So the group that is following includes the likes of Alex Bodin, Kevin Vac. As Paul Sexas accelerates at the front of this group of 5, Kian Utebrooks is now struggling to hold onto the back, as a group of 4 is now. Is it going to be? Can Utebrooks get on the back? There's a gap created for Utebrooks, but the group that is chasing includes the likes of Tobias Hallen Johannesson, Alex Bodin. Anyone else? Kevin Vaculin potentially. But the likes of Peo Bilbao, Igor Arrieta have all dropped from this group now. But I don't think Utebrooks is going to be able to make it back onto these four at the front as Paul Sexas looks over his shoulder. Roglic seems to do an attack on the right-hand side out of the saddle. He moves to the front of this group before. Is he going to attack? He's looking very comfortable here, Roglic. As soon as Roglic sits back down, Paul Sexas moves to the front. Out of the saddle he goes. It looks like he's putting an attack here. Out of the saddle, putting the foot down. Lipowitz on his wheel. As Lipowitz now attacks on the right-hand side. Paul Sexas straight to his wheel. Follows him. Is Roglic dropping? Roglic isn't chasing. Ion Izagiri. I'm going to call him Izagiri from now on. Izagiri now, he's dropping the wheel of Roglic. So we've got Lipowitz and Paul Sexas here both together trying to attack each other. Roglic didn't react, so he seems to have dropped now. Izagiri has dropped from Roglic. 29.1 kilometers to go. But side by side, Lipowitz and Sexas on this climb. 29 kilometers to go. They keep attacking each other, and every time one attacks, the other one follows. Lipowitz now just moves onto Paul Sexas' wheel. Izagiri is now caught back up to Roglic. Never mind, there's a gap again. Kian Utebrooks seems to have been caught by the group containing Tobias Hallen Johannesson. As Paul Sexas, another acceleration, Lipowitz follows. Not that big of an acceleration. I'm not going to lie, Roglic is still looking comfortable here. He has dropped off the back a bit, but Izagiri seems to have dropped now. He seems to have dropped quite a bit from Roglic's wheel. I just call him Roglic. But we've still got Paul Sexas leading Lipowitz here at the front of this race on the climb. The kilometers are dropping very, very slowly as it is really steep. 28.7k to go. Sexas out of the saddle again. But I'm not going to lie, Roglic is looking... It doesn't look like Roglic is bothered here. I think he's just... Bobby's... I think you're right, Bob. I think he is just pacing himself. He's keeping a decent enough distance between himself, Lipowitz, and Sexas. And he doesn't look too bothered by it. Cameras on Peo Bilbao here as he looks to be trying to get back onto this Alex Bodin and Tobias Hallen Johannesson group. Looks like Ion Izagiri has now joined that group, and it looks like Watchalong is dropping off the back of that group. The gap is that from Roglic to Sexas? Apparently the gap is 9 seconds. I don't know if that's from Roglic to Sexas or Sexas to the other group of favourites. But this is some sight, seeing both Red Bull boys trying to beat Paul Sexas. Sexas out of the saddle again. Lipowitz is actually stuck to his wheel like glue. 1.4 kilometers to the top of the climb. Right, I think that is the gap to Roglic. 7 seconds. Roglic is down on Sexas and Lipowitz. The other group of the favourites are 21 seconds down. So that group includes Alex Bodin, Kian Utebrooks, Tobias Hallen Johannesson, Harold Tejada, I think Champoussin's there. I'm not sure if Scaroni's there. There's another Astana rider, but I'm not sure if it is Chapoussin or Scaroni. Camera is back to the Paul Sexas and Lipowitz duo. Sexas still at the front, dragging them up. Roglic is still in a very comfortable position. 9 seconds down, but I think he'll catch them. Well, actually, if Sexas attacks here and does what he does in the descent, I don't think anyone will catch him. But if Roglic has an attack on him here in the final kilometre of this climb, I think he may be able to catch him. Exactly 1 kilometre now to the top of the climb. The final kilometre is about 8.5-9%. So they've finished the steepest part of the climb. But don't forget, we still have another climb after this. So there's still a category 3 climb. It's 5 kilometers long and has an average of 4.3%. That is still to come straight after the descent of this climb. But there's currently 800 meters to the top, 27.7k to go. Roglic is 9 seconds down on Sexas and Lipowitz. Peo Bilbao seems to have made it back to this favourites group. But it is... my prediction was Paul Sexas to attack on this climb and go solo. I don't know if he is going to go solo here. 700 meters to the top. Who is that? Javier Romo has now caught onto the back of Primoz Roglic here. This is a big one from Javier Romo. He now passes Roglic. Roglic straight to his wheel. He came out of nowhere there. It looks like Javier Romo's dragging Roglic back here to Sexas and Lipowitz, and it looks like they're going to catch him. Never mind, Paul Sexas accelerates off the front here. Lipowitz isn't dropping anytime soon. Paul Sexas sits back down. Javier Romo is now dropping, or I was going to say Paul Roglic. He's dropping Roglic now. There's a small gap being created between Javier Romo and Roglic. You can still see Sexas and Lipowitz up the road as Sexas gets out of the saddle yet again. Lipowitz has been in the same position, hunched over the handlebars for the past wee while now. But Javier Romo has dropped Roglic here. It's a question whether Javier Romo can now catch up to Sexas and Lipowitz. 340 metres to the top of this climb now. Look at the crowds here now. Is that Kevin Vaclon? Kevin Vaclon looks to have caught back up to this favourites group now, so all the riders that have dropped off seem to be catching back up. All the fans holding pictures of riders at the side of the road with massive heads. As you see, I've seen Peo Bilbao's head there. So we're still, cameras back to the front. Sexas still leading Lipowitz at the front. You can still see Javier Romo in the distance, but not the... Oh, Javier Romo out of the saddle. He's literally caught back up to them here. Javier Romo has now made it onto the wheel of Florian Lipowitz. I was going to say there's a bike length, but that has been closed down. So Javier Romo joins Lipowitz and Paul Sexas in this group as Oh! Romo crashes. I think he got hit by someone in the crowd. As soon as Paul Sexas got out of the wheel and as soon as Romo gets back to this group, Romo hits the deck. That's awful. He looked brilliant there. Oh, no. The camera cuts to Roglic as he completes the climb now, but I don't know what's happening with Romo. Sexas and Lipowitz are onto the descent now. Peo Bilbao and Kevin Vaclon. They've completed the climb as well. Where'd Romo go? Well, I hope he's alright, but that... he looks so good, Romo. I think he touched Lippo's back wheel. They're going to show the replay here now. Here we go. Romo straight back on. As soon as Sexas gets out of the saddle, Romo hits the deck. But it's not going to be a good... Yeah, I think it's a touch of wheel. There was no one in the crowd near him. I think he touched the back wheel of Lipowitz. Yikes. Yeah, it was Romo's mistake. No one in the crowd. I take that back. Right, so we're on to the descent now. I've loads of... banned from cycling. Not like you say. Don't jump over sunken canals. Make the jump, put both hands up in celebration, fall backwards. Oh. Yikes. Right. 25 kilometers to go. Onto the descent. Let's see if we can get some time gaps now. I don't think they're going to get any. But Javier Romo is back on the bike. I think he's still chasing. Javier Romo is looking quick down this descent here. I wonder where he is. It's a helicopter shot, so I wonder. The red car's behind him. So's the blue motorbike. Who's behind him? What cyclist is next to him? Yeah, it is. It's Roglic. So he's still ahead of Roglic. Romo's still in this. So that is good to see that he is straight back onto the bike. No issues at all and straight into the descent. It's just whether he can catch Sexas and Lipowitz now after the descent into the next climb. But he was looking very, very strong on that. They're showing the descent now. Roglic going around the corner. No issues. 18 seconds is the gap from Roglic to Sexas and Lipowitz at the front, as Sexas is doing the leading out on this descent. And I see watching him descent, I can't even watch it. His knees like nearly it's like watching a motorbike in the MotoGP go around the corner. His like knees near hit the ground in the barrier. It's really impressive, like, but it's just so hard to watch. Lipowitz is doing well as well here on this descent. Sexas looks over his shoulder to see if he dropped him, and he hasn't. He put an acceleration here out of the saddle, but no issues for Lipowitz, as he is, like I said earlier, glued to Sexas's wheel here. "23 kilometers to go." Romo can descend. Roglic does not take risks much. Well, we will see where they are after the descent here, because I don't think the time gaps are going to be accurate at all because of the speeds. But as soon as this descent ends, they hit the final climb of the day. The camera's on Romo now. The gap is apparently, according to the TV, the gap is 10 seconds from Romo to Sexas and Lipowitz. He's not looking too bad in the descent as well. I think it's more than 10 seconds. I think Sexas and Lipowitz were here earlier. Pardon me. No, you're right, Johnny. You can see them up the road. I think I just seen them there turn to the left. See, PCS says the group of favourites behind Roglic include Clement Champousson, Harold Tejada, Kian Utebrooks, Peo Bilbao, Ian Izagiri, Alex Bodin, Kevin Vakulin, and Tobias Hallen Johannesson. So PCS says that there is 8 of them. The virtual general classification as it stands, obviously Paul Sexas in first, Florian Lipowitz is moving up into second, Roglic in third, Ian Izagiri in fourth, and Alex Bodin moves up into fifth, with Skelmoza and Ben Tullett moving down into 14th and 15th. Yikes, that is not good for Lidl or Visma. Primoz has gained 13 seconds on the leaders in just about a minute. I haven't actually seen him haven't seen the camera on him since he started the descent. Sorry, Kat, I just tried going mobile for a few minutes, stepping outside of my phone, not exactly a road trip. Very good. So I think, where was it? So apparently the gap for Javier Romo is 11 seconds. You can still see they're showing a helicopter shot. Was I being blind there? Who's this now? This is Roglic. I'm so confused. The cameras are all over the road. So the camera's now on Roglic, who, according to PCS, is 22 seconds down on the road. Camera's now back to this favourites group, who, according to PCS, are 40 seconds down the road. I'm a little worried about Primoz trying to go fast downhill. He had a few problems with that in the past. Well, fingers crossed he stays on his bike. 3. Yeah, so there is 8 in this group of favourites. Obviously, Vaculin and Peo Bilbao both dropped on that climb, but they've made it back in, which is good to see for both Bahrain and Ineos. And like I said earlier, Ineos lost a rider before the stage even started today as Axel Laurence abandoned the race. I don't exactly know why, but I just seen it there on PCS that he didn't start. So the time gaps are starting to load now for the TV, that is. So Javier Romo is 12 seconds down on Sexas and Lipowitz. This group of favourites is apparently 28 seconds down on Sexas and Lipowitz as we hit 18.9 kilometres to go. We'll change that to 20. You're confused. Think what it's like for the rest of us. But he can descend if he wants to. Last year there was a stage in Catalonia where he was brilliant. So Lipowitz now finally moves to the front of this group with Sexas as he now is leading Paul Sexas out to the start of this Category 3 climb. 52 kilometres an hour that these two are going. And that's after the descent. Well, it's still a slight descent now, but that is after the steepest part of the descent. Camera now pans back to Javier Romo. You can't see Sexas or Lipowitz up the road, can you? As soon as I'm trying to get a good look, the camera turns around to see Roglic, who is about to catch Javier Romo. Pardon me. Camera's now back to the group of favourites. Ian Izagiri getting gels and bottles from the car. But I think Roglic is about to catch Javier Romo here. Got the helicopter camera on Roglic. We will see if Romo is up the road. He is indeed. And he is up by a small margin of seconds. He's literally about to catch him here. So Roglic and Romo are 22 seconds off Paul Sexas and Florian Lipowitz. There's still a gap between the pair of them, but Roglic... Ooh. Car went to go up on the left-hand side there, and Romo moved to the left, and the car had to hit the brakes. As the blue Shimano car speeds up the road to obviously go and catch up to Paul Sexas and Lipowitz. I think they are on to the Category 3 climb now, are they? Looks like they're going uphill now. I think they've just started the Category 3 climb, the last climb of the day. Now the final, 5 or 6 kilometres are uphill as well. I wouldn't say it's a bit of drag, I'd reckon. I wouldn't really say they're uphill, but it's more up a drag. So the camera is now on this favourites group, who are 39 seconds down. Roglic and Javier Romo are 24 seconds down, so 15-second gap between the favourites group and Roglic and Romo, and then 25-second gap from those two to Sexas and Lipowitz. So I don't... will they catch them? I don't know. I think the favourites group are going to catch Roglic and Romo here. But there's 4.2 kilometres to the start of this, or to the top of this climb. And like I said before, it has averages of 4.3%. What is the steepest on it, actually? Pardon me. Back to yawning. Right, so what do you call the climb? That's what you call it. Yeah, the climb is 4. First kilometre is 4%, second 5%, third 4%, fourth 5%, and the fifth one is 2%. So not the steepest of climbs, but still a categorised climb nonetheless. Lipowitz now moves to the front as he flicks the elbow for Sexas to come through. 3.9 to the top of the climb. 16.4 to the finish. I can't stop yawning. Blue Shimano, my favourite fragrance. So I think the gap is sort of stabilising between Romo and Roglic to the favourites group behind. sitting in about 20 seconds. So it is. The favourites group, they seem to have sat up. It looks like there's a rider from Astana at the front. I wonder if it is Tejada. It is Tejada at the front as Peo Bilbao moves to the front now. Cian Utebrooks as well sat in second wheel. Tobias Hallen Johannesson in third. Bodin in fourth. Chapuisson in fifth wheel. Vakelin and Ian Izagiri are still there as well, but they're at the back of the group. Attack out the front from the favourites group with Alex Bodin. He sets an attack into motion with Utebrooks trying to follow. Any gaps created? No. So Alex Bodin doesn't look like it's going anywhere. He sits back up, looks over his shoulder. Utebrooks straight to his wheel. Tobias Hallen Johannesson in third wheel. Yeah, no gaps created there. Thing is, it only attracts bicycle. I'm confused with the Boris strat. Lippo is working with Sexas, but also Rogla is working with Rumo. Yeah, it does seem a bit weird. But I think Lipowitz will want to work with him, or else Sexas is going to attack him. And I think if Sexas puts another attack in, I don't know whether Lipowitz will be able to follow. So he's working with him to keep him happy. So there is 2.8 kilometers now from the top of the climb for Sexas and Lipowitz. Roglic and Romo have just hit the 3 kilometer banner for the top of the climb, as Roglic seems to have put an attack in here on Romo. Out of the saddle, acceleration, no gaps are formed from that. But Roglic is out of the saddle at the front of these two. 27 seconds the gap is, so the gap is growing. I don't think that they are going to catch them. The favourites group is 51 seconds down on Sexas and Lipowitz. What's that? 25 second gap between the favourites group and Roglic and Lipowitz. I've never seen Red Bull Bora have strategy or tactics. That's why I loved Roglic at Visma. Super serious. I can't stop yawning. I don't know why I'm yawning today. So that's why I loved Roglic at Visma. Superior strategy and tactics. I guess you could say that's why you could add that to an advantage of why Red Bull are good at racing, because you just don't know what they're going to do in a race. It's always something different. But these two here still working together at the front. 2 kilometers now to the top of the climb. 14.7 to go in the stage. Let me have a look at the poll. 18 votes, 67% for Sexas, 17 for Lipowitz, 17 for other. So, oh, pardon me. Boy, tactics are for wimps. Yep. They just wing it every race. Because Red Bull does give you wings, so. Does Red Bull have any idea what they're doing? They must have some idea, they got third at the Tour de France last year. So the gap is now 30 seconds, so it is growing. All the gaps seem to be the same and staying at the same, stabilising now. 25 seconds from Romo and Roglic to the favourites group, and 30 seconds as Sexas is now beside the car, getting another bottle. Is he shouting at his team? What happened there? I think he got handed a bottle and I don't know if it dropped there and he was shouting for another one. I don't know what happened there. Paul is probably quicker in a sprint at weight. Yeah, I suppose that's a good tactic, but it's whether Lipowitz can get Sexas to wait. Red Bull car now comes up to the side of Lipowitz as Sexas looks to be attacking here off the front. No. No, didn't go anywhere. Well camouflaged. Thank you. So do you all think that Lipowitz is going to beat Sexas in a sprint here, or do you think Sexas will be able to do it? So they've got the gradients out for the final kilometers up to the finish, and I thought it was a drag. It looks like a drag on the stage profile, but it's sitting about 1% average for the final 5 kilometers. So I highly doubt that will be an issue. But the gap to the second group with Roglic and Romo, have you guessed it? It's still at 30 seconds. It isn't budging at all. The gap for the favourites group, however, has went down 5 seconds, as they are 49, 50 seconds behind Sexas and Lipowitz. Lipo low-key leaving gaps. I think he's struggling. That's why I said he's working with Sexas just to make him happy and make sure he doesn't attack out the front. But it looks like, I thought he was doing another attack there. He keeps getting out of the saddle and putting the foot down. But I think that is why Lipowitz is working with him, is to make sure that Sexas doesn't get annoyed at him and try to attack him. But I think he will try and attack him here on the descent, like he did in the climb before. He tried to, looked over his shoulder and seen Lipowitz was still on his wheel. Only chance for Lipo is for vampire tactics. Oh, so Sexas and Lipowitz have crossed the top off this climb. They're now going under the descent. So let's see if any attacks happen here. This is where Sexas will now kick into gear and do his motorcycle corners. Gap has now increased to 34 seconds for this group chasing. I can't stop yawning. Oh, fuck me. So 35 seconds that Romo and Roglic are behind Paul Sexas and Lipowitz. The favourites group that includes Tobias Allen Johannesson, Vakulin, Alex Bodin, Ian Izagiri, Peo Bilbao, Utebrooks, Tejada and Chapousson are 49 seconds down, as they just crossed the top of the climb as well. So it looks like 15 seconds from the favourites group to Roglic and Romo. So I do think that these two will be caught by this favourites group, but I don't think Sexas and Lipowitz are going to get caught. .7 kilometers left for this stage. There's quality descenders in that group. And just sorry, I'm watching Sexas's descending here. It is he looks over his shoulder to see if Lipowitz is still there, and he is. But honestly, I can't watch him descend. It's like you have to hide behind your hands to watch him. There's quality descenders in that group. I think Roglic and them will get caught. Yeah, I agree. I think they are going to get caught here. But they're under the descent still. 11k to go. Sexas is at the front of this too. But, I mean, Romo now attacks out the front of Roglic, but Roglic is closing this down fairly quickly. There is a small gap, but Romo looks over his shoulder, sees Roglic is still there, and sits up. But the favourites group are right behind them. You can see them up the road in the distance. 12 seconds the gap is now between those two, as Ian Izagiri looks to be accelerating out the front, as well as Alex Bodin, Peo Bilbao. But it is Ian Izagiri doing the majority of the attacking here, trying to bring these two back or break away himself on this descent. What's the gap down to now? There's no point even looking at the gaps, because the times, they're not going to be accurate. This cornering. Lipowitz is still there though. But that corner, it's hard. It's hard to watch him. 9.9 kilometers to go, so we're into the final 10k. 53 kilometers an hour they're doing. I'd love to have seen what Romo would have been like if he was still with these two, if he didn't hit the wheel of Lipowitz. Do I reckon Romo would have won the sprint? I think he would have definitely finished in the top 3. $60 kilometers an hour they're doing. 9.2k to go. I think Roglic, the time gap for sorry, I'm just trying to the time gap for Roglic and Romo disappeared, so I'm trying to figure out if they got caught by the favourites group. Is there a crash? Ooh. Tobias Hallen Johannesson. He didn't crash, but he took that corner wrong and went wide. Sorry, he was able to stay on the bike. He is now dropped from that group, which he'll not be too happy with. But the gap is 50 seconds from this group of favourites to the front of the race. Oh, these two are really close to each other. Oh, Lipowitz near went straight into the side of Sexas after that corner. Like, when I say he is glued to his wheel, he is like literally right on the back of his wheel. If Sexas goes down or has to hit the brakes, Lipowitz is smacking straight into the back of him. Since Lippo went pro, he has an insane stage race record. Oh, come on. Every time he finishes a corner, he goes so close to the other side of the road. But this is... but Sexas just doesn't care when he's descending. Like, he just, I don't know, he just goes with the wind. Wherever the wind takes him, he's going. You can actually hear the brakes on the bike of the pair of them. Well, I think it sounded like a noise from the bike. 7.3k to go. 26 seconds down the road is Roglic and Javier Romo. But Sexas still leading them out. Lipowitz still glued to his wheel. This is... Rog's been my favourite for a decade. But Roglic does seem to be a fan favourite. And rightly so. So the descent is now over. It is now 6.6 kilometres to the finish. What is the gap? 29 seconds from Roglic and Javier Romo. It has... I don't think they'll get caught. So if you are just joining, the likes of Skelmoza and Ben Tullett, they aren't in the favourites group that are chasing. They dropped earlier in the stage, so they moved completely out of the top 10 in GC. The favourites group that is chasing, is Tobias Allen Johannesson, Kevin Vacklin, Alex Bodin, Ian Izagiri, Peo Bilbao, Kian Utebrooks, Harold Tejada, and Clement Chapousson. They're 50 seconds down on Lipowitz and Sexas. There are two riders in between both these groups that are 32 seconds down on the two at the front, and that is Primoz Roglic and Javier Romo. Romo was in the front group with Lipowitz and Sexas at the top of the final Category 1 climb, but he hit Lipowitz's back wheel and hit the deck, but he was able to get back up straight away and go down the descent. But that is how the race is currently standing. There are 5.8 kilometres to go. We're nearly into the final 5 kilometres. So we're going to see how this plays out here, and if... Never mind, Roglic and Javier Romo have been caught by the favourites group. So the favourites group is now 37 seconds down. Right. 24 votes on the 67% Lipowitz, 21%, 67% Sexas, 21% Lipowitz, and 12% other. Pardon me. Song a second. Put total nobody then, and then you knew. Oh, yes, I remember saying you knew from ski jumping. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. The favourites group now are all looking at each other. No one is pulling in this group. Watchalong is at the front. There's a rider from Astana who's just went to the front as well, but they aren't working together. They're all looking at each other. Astana have 2 riders and Movistar have 2 riders in this group, so, I think they're just going to fight for third, but you would think that either Astana or Movistar would be trying to pull these 2 back, but doesn't look it. As Watchalong now is at the front, that Astana rider drops back to his teammate. But they're all weaving all over the road, looking at each other, seeing who's going to do what and who's going to go where. As Romo now moves, is that Romo or someone from Movistar? It's either Utebrooks or Romo now move to the front of this favourites group. So it looks like one of the teammates is going to work. What happened to Johannesson? He was on the descent and he just miscalculated one of the corners and went wide. Lost his foot and he didn't crash or anything, but he had to unclip from the pedal and try and get back on track, and he has dropped a bit. PCS says 45 seconds down, and he apparently 10 seconds down on the chasing group. And they aren't working together, so we could potentially see him claw back, but we will have to wait and see how this plays out. .5 kilometers to go now. 44k an hour that they're doing, as Lipowitz is at the front of this group now with Sexas on the wheel, leading them into the final 3k. The gap is increased to 43 seconds for the chasing group, so not a mission there, bringing them back now with 3 kilometers to go. But I'm going to do another quick poll for the sprint between Sexas and Lipowitz. So there's a poll there into the chat with who's going to win in the 2-man sprint, Paul Sexas or Lipowitz. Let me know by voting on it. I am going to go with Paul Sexas. I did predict him to win the stage. I thought he would have been solo at this point, but he currently isn't. He has got Lipowitz with him. So these two are going to go to a sprint in the final 1 kilometer, and I'm hoping for a good one. I don't know if I'd like to hope Lipowitz still has the legs for a sprint. Likewise with Sexas, they have been doing quite a lot of work. 47 seconds is the gap with 2.2 kilometers to go. That's 32. No, we've got 2. So 70% think Sexas is getting it, 30% think Lipowitz is getting it. I need to get rid of my stutter before this final kilometer. Oh. So the chasing group, cameras on them currently still. Who is that at the front? I think it's Javier Romo from Movistar at the front doing the work. Obviously for his leader, Kian Utebrooks. There's Tobias Hallen Johannesson in the distance. He is about to catch back up to this group is here, which is good to see after his unfortunate bad corner. In future bros, can you put a don't know option so I can participate? Yeah. If I can't think of a fourth option in some of them, yes, I will add a don't know option for yourself, Cat. Lippos just wants to get second place working with Paul. So Lipowitz is at the front here, 1.2 kilometers to go. They are about to hit the final 1 kilometer banner. Let's hope for a good sprint here. It looks like the favourites group, they're all looking at each other. I thought someone was attacking off the front there. There is exactly 1 kilometre to go now as the two at the front have hit the 1 kilometre banner. Paul Saxas is at the front, Lipowitz on the wheel. Paul Saxas looking over his shoulder as Lipowitz comes up to the right hand side of him. They're both going side by side as now Lipowitz moves to the front. Saxas on the wheel. Small gap created by Lipowitz. Saxas out of the saddle. Lipowitz out of the saddle. There's no way Lipowitz can hold this out of the saddle attack for this long. 680 metres to go. Lipowitz is still out of the saddle here. Saxas right on the back of his wheel, hunched over the handlebars. There's an attack out the front of the favourites group. I don't care, but I think Movistar Rider attacks out the front. I don't know if it's Romo or Utebrooks. Into the final 400 metres, Lipowitz still at the front. Saxas on his wheel to go round a right-hand bend. Is there a left-hand bend? There is indeed. Right, here we go. Finish line in the distance. On the cobble road, Saxas on the right-hand side, Lipowitz on the left-hand side. Lipowitz launches, Saxas launches. Saxas looks to have set up as Lipowitz is at the front. Saxas on the right-hand side. Lipowitz, Saxas. Saxas at the front. Saxas moves into the front. Lipowitz on the wheel. Saxas gets it. What a sprint. It looked like Saxas had ran out of sprint. I thought Lipowitz was going to get it there. Saxas does end up winning. Lipowitz still has to wait for his first ever World Tour stage race. Oh. Out of breath again. Lipowitz still has to wait for another one. But what a win for Saxas. We're here now fighting for the third position. It is Javier Romo from Movistar. I think if he does get third, he does deserve it, but he has got a gap on the favourites group. You can't even see them in the distance. So it looks like Javier Romo is going to have an easy third place here in the final 1 kilometre. Yeah, it looks like Javier Romo is going to get this third place. Saxas is insane. I believe Saxas... I know, I need to go out to run or something because every time I do one of these, I'm out of breath. But Javier Romo crosses the line in third. There is a sprint for fourth. Who is going to get it? Looks like Peyo Bilbao at the front. No, it's Kevin Vacklin at the front with an Astana rider. Kevin Vacklin gets fourth. That's a good result for him. So it is indeed. Roglic finishes at the back of that group. But Saxas with another win. 3 at this Itzulia Basque Country. 3 out of 5 he has won. I thought Lipowitz was going to get it there. But Lipowitz still, like I've said before, has to wait for his first ever World Tour race. It's actually crazy that he has never got one. Thank you for doing this. No problem. No problem, Shark. Is it Shark or Sharky? But yes, 39 people. Don't forget to subscribe. I am live again tomorrow for the final stage of the Itzulia Basque Country. And then we have a massive race on Sunday, the Paris-Roubaix, which I will be live for. Did Johannesson finish with the group of favourites? Yes, he did. He ended up getting 7th. Sorry, I've got the top 10 here, so I'll go through it. So the top 10 for stage 5 of the Itzulia Basque Country. Paul Saxas wins it. Florian Lipowitz gets 2nd. Javier Romo comes in 3rd. Kevin Vacklin in 4th. Ian Izagiri in 5th. Harold Tejada in 6th. Tobias Hallen Johannesson gets 7th. Clement Champousson gets 8th. Peyo Bilbao in 9th. And Alex Bodin in 10th. So that wraps up your top 10 for the... That wraps up the top 10 for stage 5 of the Itzulia Basque Country. I think the GC is going to change drastically. Well, I say the top 10 is going to change drastically because Scalamosa and Ben Tullett dropped earlier on the stage. But yeah, I'm going to end it here because I am quite short for time. So thank you again for joining me for stage 5 of the Itzulia Basque Country. And I'll be live again tomorrow. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Go and check out my Paris-Roubaix preview video that I just uploaded last night onto YouTube. So I've got the preview and 5 riders to watch during the race. So go and check it out. Leave a like on it. It is greatly appreciated. But yes, another stage in the bag. One more to go for the Itzulia Basque Country. Then it is the Paris-Roubaix on Sunday. Thank you all for watching, and thanks for watching the Final K. And I will see you tomorrow. Oh.